So, did they say what they wanted?
No. Good. They only asked if you were Sandra June Meadows, then they gave you date of birth. I said you were. And then they said they'd like to interview you for local TV.
Well, it doesn't make any sense. Why would they want to interview me? Did you ask them why?
What?
Did you ask them what they wanted to interview me about?
No, of course not. They'll tell you that when they come, won't they?
Have you been up to mischief?
No, I haven't. We always think that, don't you?
That's because you've mostly been up to summit. You haven't been mooning out the window to your mates on the bus again, have you?
No, I haven't. You told me not to after the vicar's wife complained last time. Miserable old trout. You'd think she'd not seen a bear ass before. Fancy making such a fuss.
Well, I should think she was somewhat surprised on her way to Evensong. She looks over and there's your bear behind poking out the window.
Well, I didn't do it for her, did I? Gosh, she shouldn't have been spying, the miserable old busybody. I was doing it for Smithy and the gang on the bus, not her.
Well, I'll be sure to ask her to apologise the next time I see her then. Your sister's not been streaking topless through the mall again, has she?
No, she hasn't. Oh, I don't think so, anyway. Well, then again, you know what Bonny's like. She does whatever takes her fancy. Hang on. How do you know about the topless incident? We thought we kept that a secret. Who told you that?
Guess.
It was me. Oh, not the bloody vicar's wife again. She must get everywhere, that woman.
Actually, it was her son. But of course he reported it to his mother.
Yeah, of course he did. Yeah, Holy Stanley the perv. Yeah, oh, that's what we call him. Look, he was cheering just as much as the rest of that, so she shot along the landing, waving her bra.
Why does she do it?
God, don't ask me. Maybe someone dared her. I mean, she did say she spent most of her holiday topless anyway, so what did it matter?
Well, there's a big difference between a Spanish beach and your local shopping mall.
Don't take it on to me. I didn't encourage her.
So as far as you know, you've both been behaving yourselves.
Like little angels, yes. Because I can't say the same for our dad.
Has he been up to summit? I thought he'd been behaving himself since getting a warning for assaulting a police officer.
Yeah.
He was just protesting about the library. He only knocked his hat off.
Good that. What was it the paper said? He said he called the constable, what was it? He called him a fascist pig and that he ought to get back to the start with the rest of the pigs. That were abusive behaviour, they said it was. That was great, that.
Dad loved that library. He'd been going there since he was a child. Just wanted to make a protest.
Yeah, but it's still closed. It was all a waste of time.
Oh, well, that was ages ago. They wouldn't want to interview me about that. Why the bloody hell didn't you ask them, Niles?
Well, you'll soon find out they'll be here in about 5 minutes, won't they? Well, that will be them now, I suppose.
Oh, bugger me. Clear up, I don't want you sticking your oar in.
Hey?
Hello? I'm home! What's the matter with you? You look like you've seen ghosts.
Have you been up to summit?
What do you mean, up to something? Have you been saying things about me to Mum again, you turd? You'd better not, because I can say a few things about you, you know.
She has said nothing. She's just worried about the TV people coming to interview her.
TV people? Well, why are they coming to interview you?
I haven't got a clue. Your brother neglected to ask him. Can you believe it?
Well, are you surprised? You know what a titty is.
I may be a tit, and I don't go waggling him in the face the old town, do I?
You said to mention that, you bloody little shit!
God, get off! Look, stop it! One knows all about it.
What did you tell her?
No, I didn't. It was only Stanley the pervy blabbed on you to his dad.
Well, he wasn't complaining at time. His eyes were sticking out like chapel lamp pegs.
It's not funny. I'm trying to raise a respectable family and you two and your dad keep letting me down. If I find out that these reporters are here for anything to do with you two, you're in big trouble. Do you understand?
Well, my love, what are you all doing in here? Is dinner ready? I'm starving.
We'll have our meal after the reporters have been.
Reporters? What reporters?
Oh, they're just here to interview Mum about something we've done. Oh, or maybe it's something you've done, Dad.
I'm sorry, love, I only meant it as a bit of fun. Some people just can't take a joke nowadays.
What bloody joke? I just can't trust you lot to behave, can I?
Well, it was like this, right? What happened was, somebody at the door.
Say Ballabelle, then. Hey, don't worry, I'll get it, Sheldon.
No, I will get
Will you two stop it? Kevin, go and let them people in. You two, sit down and shut up. I said, shut up. And that goes for you two, keep your mouth shut.
There's no need to be so nasty, Mum.
Mrs. Sandra June Meadows.
That's me. What's this about?
Very pleased to meet you. I'm Amanda Adams and this is James Bird and we're from Look Around South East.
I've seen you loads of times on the local TV news.
Aye. So have I.
What did I say to you two?
Sorry.
I repeat, what's this all about?
Well, have you heard of a programme called Who Are You?
I have. Yeah, because that's the one where they had the politician on it, weren't they? Because they dated him back to this, was it a well-known con man and embezzler? I thought he was just following in family tradition.
Thank you, Niles. Yes, we've all seen the show, but what's it got to do with us?
Well, at the moment we're researching a very prominent British citizen and your name came up.
My name? In what connection?
In connection with this person. I suppose you recognise her?
Well, of course I do, but I've never met her. What's she got to do with me?
Well, our research proves conclusively that she is your sister.
Rubbish. I've not got a sister and I've never had a sister. This is a mistake.
We have checked it 1,000 times and she is most definitely your sister.
Who's sodding sister? Let me see.
Give us a look. No, I can't believe that. That can't be true, can it?
I always knew you were something special, Sans. From the moment I first saw you standing behind the meat counter at Tesco's. You had an aristocratic way of slicing the haslet.
Oh, shut up, Kevin. This is a mistake.
Hey, we're going to have to speak a lot posher, ain't we, Bonny? Hey, do we have titles, I wonder?
Yeah, the Right Honourable Niles, the git. Can you believe it? The bloody Prime Minister's an auntie!
You two, stop it.
Rightio, mate.
We'd just like to hear from you what your reactions are to this exciting news.
You can put that away. There's going to be no filming going on here till I know what's going on. Who says she's my sister?
Well, you just look here at your family tree.
Hello. Well, that's it then. That's my old part, that is. But what do you think? Well, it's rubbish, isn't it? Absolutely rubbish. See, I come on, I say one, maybe 2 lines if I'm lucky, and then I'm off again. I just sit at the back eating tea and biscuits. I did say to the director, if I had to do the cameraman, and well, I would be prepared to do it if I could do something else, later on, with a beard maybe. So, she'll have to see if you recognise me later on.
Right, so my mum was made pregnant at the age of 16 by the Right Honourable Sir Sheldon Quintin Davis Jarvis, whatever his name is.
Correct.
Right, and then his family adopted the little girl that was subsequently born. That's what my mum told me. Am I right so far? Because if I am, she's only my half-sister.
Not exactly. You see, 3 years later, there was yet another encounter with your mother and the Honourable Sir Sheldon. And this time, you were the result.
You mean to say this randy old snob put my gran up duff twice? Well, where is it? I'd like to give him a piece of my mind.
Now, this is the sad part, you see. He was determined to stand by your gran, but family pressures kept them apart.
Well, he didn't, did he? He left my mum to bring me up all on her own. I suppose there were more family pressures once I come along.
Not exactly. You see, your father was quite a well-known race car driver, and 3 weeks before you were born, Mrs. Meadows, he was in a terrible accident. He was in a coma for quite some time.
Oh, right. Well, that makes sense. I asked my mum 1,000 times about my dad. She just used to say, your dad was a lovely man, but he's gone for good now, so there's no point talking about him. She always looked so sad. I never wanted to push for an answer.
Well, it's sort of romantic, isn't it?
I don't know how you work that out. He was just some rich git bonking our ground and getting away with it.
Well, he couldn't help it if he were injured, could he?
Well, look, if he lived up to his responsibilities now, we could have been aristocracy instead of living in this grotty dump.
Well, thank you very much, son. It's nice to know my efforts to provide for the family are appreciated.
Sorry, Dad, I didn't mean it like that, did I?
Look, I'm not sure I believe this. I mean, don't you need some kind of DNA testing to prove something like this?
That would be conclusive, of course, but the Prime Minister's family have confirmed all the facts, and it does seem to be true.
Now, well, that's all very interesting, but what difference does it make now, eh? I don't suppose anybody's going to give us some money, are they? A printed apology in Times, not a bloody chance. It's the rich what gets the pleasure and the poor what gets the blame. It's always been the same.
Yes, thank you, Karl Marx. Now, if she wants to come and see us, I have to respect that it's no more her fault what's happened than it is mine. And she's my sister, she's one of the family, and that's how we're going to treat her.
I'm glad to hear that. She's expressed a wish to meet you, if you'd agree.
Well, you wanted to come here? Well, she's a bloody Tory, and a Prime Minister as well. I shall never be able to hold my head up in the Labour Club ever again.
Will you shut up, Kevin? You've not been to Labour Club for years. When does she want to come?
She's left that up to you.
Bloody never, that's when.
Will you stop being such a prat? Your sister Marlene's round here all the time.
My sister Marlene's not a sodding Tory politician.
And my sister's not on game.
That's unfair, she packed that up years ago.
Auntie Marlene was a hooker. Funny.
And you made such a fuss about me showing my tits.
What? Now you've been showing your tits too, eh?
Oh, bloody town, that's who.
That's not bad, you waggling your ass for the vicar's wife.
What's it about your bloody backside of the vicar's wife, Niles? Has the whole world gone mad? Why am I not kept informed of these goings on, Sandra?
We don't want to worry you, Kev. It's not important.
Not important? Our kids are exposing themselves all over town. It's not important. What about you? You're getting your bits out as well, eh?
Not recently, no. The code gets to me now I'm older.
And the Prime Minister of the land wants to come here to meet a new family. Well, all I can say is good luck to her.
Well, I'm sorry, Kevin, but I'm afraid she's just going to have to take us as she finds us. As long as you've got your clothes on, you two.
Well, that's the end of the scene, that is. So did you notice I didn't even have one more line? I just stood there like a dork. I've got some better bits later on though, so watch out for me.
Today, ain't she? Yeah. Hey, can't wait to meet her. That'll be good.
You ain't gonna bloody meet her.
What?
I told you. I want you and your sister out of here. I'm not having you embarrass me.
But, hang on. No, because you said, right, that it was all to be as usual. And we're not to put on any false airs and graces.
That's right. That's exactly how I want it.
But look at this place. I mean, It's not been as clean as this since Grandma's funeral.
Don't talk nonsense. I keep this place spotless despite you and your slob of a sister.
Talking about me again, are we?
What other slobs live here?
If I hadn't just had my nails done, I'd scratch your eyes
You
out.
and whose army?
Will you two please just stop it? We've got the Prime Minister of the bloody country coming here in 5 minutes. I just don't want her to think that we live like animals. Are you wearing that? You look like a whore.
She takes after Auntie Marley.
Will you shut up, pig? What about him now? He don't look much better than me and he smells a lot worse.
You're quite right, love. But it doesn't matter what he wears, he always looks a mess. You at least can look nice if you try. Bloody hell, Kev. You look terrific. I've not seen you in that since we got married. Come here.
Oh, God, get a room! Oh, God, get off!
Shut up, you pal, I'll give you a clank.
Oh, you've been saying that all our lives and we've never had one.
You're too bloody quick.
Mummy's quite right though, Dad. You do look very tasty.
Thank you very much, my favourite daughter.
See? I'm his favourite daughter.
He's only got one daughter, you nin. You're also his least favourite, ain't you?
You're not going to meet your auntie dressed like that, though, love, are you? You look like a tart.
Don't you start on me, Dad. What about him?
A very, very pretty little tart.
Look, you don't say anything like that about me, do you?
Oh, come here. Come here, you look like a pretty little tart.
Oh, get off!
What? Come in the door. Must be somebody important, eh?
What was I gonna... I'm gonna get changed.
Well, they'll just have to take us as they find us.
Oh, good mate. Hey, I'm going to meet the Prime Minister.
Right.
Hey, shut.
Everything seems to be in order here.
Who are you?
MI5 ma'am, PM Security Squad. Agent Planner Mobile Unit, the area seems secure, the subject can enter safely now. It's me again. Do you recognise me? You see what I mean about these, these small parts? To say who else would be prepared to do them. Anyway, best carry on.
Right, well, this is happening then. Oh, Niles, do your flies up.
Well, you could have said Scots.
Just press your buzzer when you're ready to leave, ma'am.
Thank you, Harry. Well, at last I get to meet my long-lost sister, Sandra. Oh, and you must be Kevin.
Nice to meet you. Everybody calls me Kev.
Do they really? Kevin. And you must be my darling niece, Bonny, and Niles. I can't tell you how delighted I am to meet you.
You might want to reserve judgment until you get to know him a bit better.
Oh, nonsense, Sandra. They're both quite delightful. I was never blessed with issue myself, even though poor Jeremy tried so hard in the end. But we always put it off until next year because we wanted to achieve this or that until suddenly there were no more years and I'd left it too late. It's something I'll always regret. But now I have a darling new nephew and niece to love. Come and give your Auntie Julia a big hug.
Oh, hey, I'm kissing the Prime Minister, bloody hell.
Language.
Oh, don't worry about that, Kevin. I hear far worse in the house, I can assure you. Especially from the Labour members. Oh dear. Have I said something out of turn and you're all ardent socialists?
Oh, no, not at all. No. I'm a sort of floating voter.
Oh, good. Bonny, I love your outfit. you at the arts ball. But Gramps said I looked as if I was on the game. Mind you, things have moved on since then, haven't they?
Oh yeah, we don't worry about things like that anymore. When you say Gramps, do you mean our grandfather?
Oh, yes. He was lovely. He only died a couple of years ago. It was him that brought me up, really.
Do you remember our dad when you were a small child?
Well, the few times that I saw him, mind you, that was enough.
I don't suppose he had much time for children, what with all his car racing.
Oh, it wasn't just the car racing. There was yachting, golf, polo, and partying in the four corners of the world.
Oh, well, it's really nice to know that he had such a fun life before the crash. Well, I hope he did.
Oh, yes. And afterwards, too, I can assure you.
Oh, afterwards? So he recovered from the crash then? He got better, did he?
Oh, yes. He was in a coma for a few months. In fact, they didn't hold out a lot of hope for him. But then suddenly, he woke up and he said, "Did I win?" And we said, "No." And he said, "Oh, bugger it."
So our dad's still alive?
Oh, very much so, the old nuisance.
Well, that's not a very nice way to talk about our father.
Well, you don't know him. He's a disaster as a man. I don't suppose you ever read the Tatler or the gossip columns. Well, he was in them continually, not so much in later years.
What about?
Oh, you name it. Womanising, drunkenness, nudity.
Hey, Bonny takes after him.
You can talk, bare ass.
He has never done a day's work in his life. He is totally self-centred and selfish and completely unreliable. His whole world consists of partying from Can to Rio.
Well, just his good points.
It's not funny, Kevin. He's a continual embarrassment to me, especially in my position. But do you know the worst thing? Everybody loves him. He's so funny, and he can charm the birds off the trees when he wants to. No, I'm in the position where I hate the way that he is, but I can't help loving him. And you'll be just the same, Sandra.
Am I going to get to meet him?
Oh yes, as soon as he gets back from the Mardi Gras in Rio. It'll be very interesting to hear what you have to say after you meet him, I can assure you.
Oh, well, I can assure you that he's not going to charm me after what he did to our mother.
I better watch out, because when Sandy has something to say, don't pull any punches.
Oh,
You
well,
better warn him to expect fireworks, mate.
he won't listen to me. He never has, or anybody else come to that matter. He's completely unreliable. It'll be very interesting to hear what you have to say. But just make sure that I am here the first time he makes contact. It'll lessen the shock.
I'm sure he can't be that bad.
Well, you don't know him.
Yeah, that's true.
Just let me know as soon as he makes contact, and I will be here for moral support.
Well, it'll always be lovely to see you, Julia. Now, I've prepared a cold collation in the dining room. Kev, do you want to go and prepare it so we can have a private sisterly chat?
When you say prepare...
Take the cling film off, Kev. He's a lovely man, Kev, but I've never managed to domesticate him.
He is a good man. I know a lot about him. In fact, I know a lot about you all.
Well, you've never met us, how?
Well, you'll laugh when I tell you. But as soon as MI5 found out about you, you were scrutinised down to how many times you go to the loo in a day.
Not really. You're joking.
No, it's true. Do you want to see the data?
No. I should think our family history makes for sordid reading. Do you want a coffee?
No, thank you. No, not at all. Now, Kevin was a bit of a problem. The head of MI5 was convinced he was a Kremlin spy.
My Kevin? He's not from Moscow. He's Pontefract lad. I mean, he does huff and puff a bit, but he's soft on the inside.
Well, he was a member of the Labour Club, and that was enough for the Birkin MI5. Now, what about the kids? Yes, the worst thing was Niles twocking.
Oh, that must be a mistake. I know he can be a bit of a sod, but he wouldn't know a twat if he saw one.
No. Taking without consent. That's what it means.
Yeah, now I remember. That was all a mistake.
Yeah, it says here the charge was dropped. Now, Kevin, what do we have about him? Oh, yes. Abusive behaviour to the police and violence to the local Tory MP, Sir Anthony Oswald.
Yeah, that was all ridiculous. It was just a protest over the closing of the library. We had a really big crop of tomatoes that year, so he puts them into some Tupperware to take to his gran, and, well, he happened to come across Sir Arsehole doing his canvassing, and, well, the temptation was there. Who could resist?
I see. It does say here that Kevin is unusually accurate.
Oh, yeah. He used to play cricket. He was a bowler. Very rarely missed.
I wish I'd been there to witness the event. Did I mishear you? Or did you refer to Sir Anthony just now as Sir Arsehole?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Everyone round here calls him that.
Right, to continue. Sir Arsehole! It suits him so much! The man is a total moron! Do you know, they wanted me to have him in my cabinet, but I resisted. When I first joined the party, he used to call me his pet, and he was always fondling my bum. I can't stand him. I don't suppose you have any photos of the tomato incident?
No, there were some floating around, but I think that's why they weren't a court case. Because obviously Sir Arsehole didn't want them to get into the public domain. He had a friend who was an editor at the time of the local paper, and he said he wouldn't be able to suppress them, so unfortunately world's not seen them, and I doubt they ever will.
Oh, I think the world might see them. I shall see to that. Mind you, they did unearth this one. I imagine that young Amazon flying through the mall bare-breasted is your Bonny.
I'm afraid so. Where did you get this? Although, she does look beautiful, don't she?
It says here they got it from one Stanley Andrews, the vicar's son, apparently. Here's your report. Do you know how many jobs you've had since you married Kevin? 47, it says here.
I suppose that's about right. I had 3 jobs on the go at the same time, sometimes. It's difficult raising a family, you know. Oh, Julia, you must be so disappointed. You find your long-lost family and this is what you get.
There's nothing wrong with any of this. Your family has never done anything cruel or unkind. Well, not as far as the Birkin MI5 could find out. And that's saying something. I envy you, Sandra. It's obvious that your husband and your children absolutely adore you. It's so easy to see when you're on the outside looking in as I am.
Well, they've got a funny way of showing it. Oh, Julie, you're the Prime Minister. You must have a wonderful life.
Yes, you'd think so, wouldn't you? But I see my husband perhaps once a week, and my father once a year. Mind you, that is a blessing. In Parliament, there's the continual backbiting and infighting and intrigues. It gets you down.
Surely that's the democratic system, you know. The opposition must oppose.
Oh, I'm not talking about the Labour Party. It's my own bloody cabinet that get on my nerves. No. It does get you down.
The leader of the opposition.
The leader of the opposition is actually quite a nice man. We get on quite well, but because of our system, I'm obliged to rubbish everything he says in private. He's a nice bloke.
Well, you've got me now, your sister, to support you.
I have, haven't I? Sister. Do you know, it sounds rather strange and wonderful.
I know what you mean. All of a sudden I feel like I belong. I just can't put it into words.
Well, you don't have to, because I feel exactly the same. Yes, what is it?
Oh, just to let you know, food's ready.
Oh, right, well, it'll have to be a fleeting visit this time, because I'm on my way to Edinburgh to meet with the leader of the SNP. I can't understand those Celtic buggers at the best of times. Oh, sorry. That's a bit of our father coming out in me.
Oh, I can assure you there's a lot of it comes out in this family now, I find out.
Really?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Well, it will be a longer visit next time, I promise. In fact, why don't you all come to the house for lunch? The Houses of Parliament. I can arrange it. I'll give you a ring. And I'll send a car to collect you. What is it now?
We really will speak a little but we will miss the helicopter.
No, I'm not finished here yet, John. I was going to have a spot of lunch. This is John, my political advisor.
I'm sorry, Bob, there is just no time, I'm afraid.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sandra, but you see how it is? Not a minute to myself. It will be a longer visit next time, I promise you.
It's me again. The one I'm wondering of. See, I did ask before the show, I did ask the director if I could sit out the front and see if I could find a spare seat and just watch the show while I'm not on stage. And, well, he went mental. He went absolutely spare. He started frothing at the mouth, Well, I only asked. Anyway, I'll see you again soon.
With her grandfather coming.
I made an effort, Mum.
Did you? Well done, son. Where is that girl?
More like where's he? He should have been here an hour ago.
Will you stop making such a fuss? He's just been held up.
He must have a mobile phone, so why don't you just ring us instead of leaving us hanging about like this?
Look, this is a clean shirt, this is... And I had a shower.
Very nice, dear.
I did. Don't look at... Go on, smell me.
Not now, dear.
Typical, that
where
is.
She?
Typical. You make an effort, no one's interested.
Come here and I'll smell you. Right. Look at me, what's that, lavender?
I don't know, it was in a big bottle in the shower room.
Did you use the old bottle? You smell like my old granny.
Oh, God, you know what? It's always the same, isn't it? Not appreciated in this family.
Oh, I'm sorry, love. You look really nice, and you smell really clean. Where is that girl?
There's somebody at the door.
I thought I told you to put some clothes on, not take them off.
Well, Auntie Julia liked the way I looked, and she should know. She is the Prime Minister. Shall I answer the door?
No, not press that hard door.
Well, I'm not changing again. Bloody hell, you stink today!
Oh, God, do you know what? No, that's it. So I've had enough of this. No, I've had enough. I'm going in my room if anyone wants me. God.
Hello again, Niles. You smell nice.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
I thought you said you were going to your room.
I thought I'd change my mind if that's all right with you. God.
Niles, what does it feel like to find out you're the nephew of the Prime Minister?
Well, I always knew I was something special.
I understand you're going to be meeting Sir Sheldon Quinton Davis soon, your grandfather. Do you know anything about him?
Not much, really. I understand he's a bit of a bugger because he knocked me gran up twice, didn't he?
Okay, thank you, Niles. What's this all about, Amanda?
Well, we thought it'd be a real scoop if we could capture you meeting your father for the first time. Our viewers would love to witness the emotions of the moment.
I'm not sure your viewers want to witness my emotions when I meet my dad for the first time.
What? I don't understand. Well, this should be a beautiful moment. A moment to treasure and be recorded.
What you don't realise, my dear, is because she's going to give her a good bollocking, you see.
Niles, haven't you better go to your room, like you said?
Is this causing some friction in the family? Can I quote you?
Shall I get my camera out?
No circumstances, no.
Well, I might as well go then.
Yeah, you should go too, Amanda.
I think that's a bit unfair. After all, it was me that reunited you with your family.
Do you see my problem? See, how am I supposed to get to grips with this part? You know, get immersed in it, you might say, with just one line? Well, it's crap. It's all the fault of that scriptwriter, I say. All the fault of the scriptwriter. Oh, I'm going again. I'll see you soon.
All right! I shall go outside and wait with the rest of the press until he comes. But I do think you're being unreasonable, Sandra. After all, it was me who reunited you with your family.
All right, I'm sorry. Just give me about half hour with him on my own first, and then you can have an interview. Is that all right?
Well, that's super, Sandy, thank you. I understand your father gives very good footage on camera. This is really going to boost my career. Where is that bloody cameraman? He's useless, you know. He's always talking to himself. I'll see you real soon.
Where is the father of yours, anyway? Is he really coming? Does he really exist? Is he just a figment of everybody's imagination?
If he is a figment, he must have a very big...
Yeah, thank you, Niles.
I was just going to say personality.
No, you weren't. You were going to say big dick.
Well, he did put our gran in the club twice, didn't he?
I hope we're going to behave with a bit more decorum when Sir Thingamabob arrives.
If he arrives, you mean?
Right. See, I don't understand you, Dad. I mean, one moment we got to treat all these ruling classes with scorn, and then next we got to treat them with decorum. Whatever that means. I'm getting mixed messages from you, Dad.
Yeah, Niles is right. Why the sudden change of attitude? Are we suddenly born again Tories?
No, of course not. No, it's your mum's dad, isn't he? And your granddad. So if only for her sake, let's sort of try and act reasonably, shall we? And don't forget Prime Minister said she'd be here as well.
Quite right, Dad. Sorry, Mum.
Will you please stop calling her the Prime Minister?
Yes.
She's Auntie Julia. She's my sister, part of the family.
Like Auntie Marley.
No, she's nothing like Auntie Marlene, I'm glad to say.
I know. It must be hard for you, Mum. Meeting your dad for the first time, and then you're as old as you.
Well, thank you from the bottom of my decrepit old heart. No, I want you all just to act as normal, okay? I owe that man no favours after the way he treated my mum. So, do your best.
Fair enough, love, but with these pay, you're taking a terrible risk.
Risk?
Aye.
What risk? You lot are my family. And despite everything, and that's a lot, I love you.
Oh.
So what if you upset the snotty-nosed old toff and I never see him again? What have I lost? Nothing. So like I said, do your worst. But just give me half hour with him first, okay?
Right, love, that's the way you want it. Supposing the silly old sod ever arrives, eh? I hope that could be him now, eh?
Somebody should answer the door. I'll answer the door.
No,
Oh, he's an impatient bugger, isn't he?
Have you all gone deaf in there? Been nothing for ages. Why, it's starting to rain. Ah, you must be Kevin. Nice to meet you, Kevin. First thing for a Jimmy Riddle and a drink in that order, if you please.
Your dad's gone to the toilet and he wants a drink.
Oh, shall I put the kettle on?
Oh, I don't think he means that kind of drink.
So hang on, we've got to stand here waiting till he has a piss, do we?
Oh, shut up, Niles!
Come on.
Have you all switched your phones back on again? If you have, switch them off.
Sorry.
Now there's a girl at the back there, quite a pretty dark-haired girl, and her name is Julie. Though she's in the toilet at the moment. But this would be good. We might be able to embarrass her rather, because when she comes out, if we could sing Happy Birthday, it would be really awful. How long is she liable to be in there? Is it going to be a long job, can you tell me? Here she comes. Are you ready?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Julie. Happy birthday to you.
Right, switch the lights off and we shall start again.
Yeah, how much has he been drinking?
Well, he has come up all the way from Kent, so I'm not surprised he busted.
Will you please stop discussing my father's bladder capacity? Now just remember, I want half hour on my own with him, okay?
Ah, that's better. Now, where's this wonderful daughter of mine? Ah, my whole family here to greet me. You must be Bonny. Oh, Bonny by name, Bonny by nature. My, you must have to beat the boys up with a stick. And you must be Niles. Niles, give me a hug. Oh, bloody hell, Niles. Are you a Nancy boy?
Hey?
No,
No, I'm not. It's just a shower gel, lads.
No shame in it, lad. Don't worry, some of my friends are gay. And who cares, eh? These all women was real men. And you, thank you. And you must be Sandra. Come, give your old dad a kiss.
Could you three leave and leave me alone with my father for a minute, please?
Well, you must be Sandra. I mean, you look a spitting image of your mother, Sally. Come, a hug for your dear old Peter.
Let me tell you, I am not your sweet little child.
Oh.
And you are not my dear old Peter. You are a selfish, spoiled old bastard. You left my mum to bring me up all on her own. Did you not think for 1 minute that she might want some help? No, not you. Too self-centred. What you got to say for yourself? Nothing. That's what. There's no excuses for the way you treat that poor old lady. But did you even look for us after you'd skulked away? No, not a chance. And what are you doing with that handkerchief?
Truce!
What?
A white flag of truce so that we can parley.
What are you on about? I don't recognise white flags.
Oh, come now. Even the Germans recognise white flags and they're a load of swine.
What are you talking about?
Look, please just let me put the other side of the story, that's all I ask.
Other side? There is no other side.
Oh, come now. There's always another side, and I assure you there is in this case.
Right, okay. But I can tell you now, I'm not going to believe you.
Just listen to what I have to say, that's all I ask.
Well, get on with it then. All the lies and excuses.
No excuses, I assure you. You see, I'm selfish, spoiled, arrogant, liar, and somewhat known as a shit. That's what people call me, you know. Sheldon the shit, they say. Now, some people are born horribly crippled or blind and deaf, and people understand them and they care for them. Me, I was born as shit. And do I get any recognition for that? No. But I assure you, as far as your mother was concerned, I sincerely wanted to do the right thing. Now, I know you won't believe me, but that is the truth.
I don't want to hear any more. This is going to be a whitewash.
No whitewash, I assure you. Look, let me just put the other side. If you don't like what you hear, then I shall leave, and you'll never have to see me again. Now, is that a deal?
Well, that sounds fair enough. But I tell you now, you start running my mum down and I'm gone.
Oh, I know I couldn't possibly run your mother down. Right. The truth. You see, I loved your mother. I loved her with all my heart, and all I wanted to do was spend all my time with her. In fact, I told my parents I wanted to marry her. To say the least, they were not happy is an understatement. You see, I was kind of engaged to the daughter of my father's best friend and business partner. Her name's Penelope, kind of a nice girl she is.
How can you kind of be engaged?
Oh, well, in those days, they sort of arranged it whilst you're in your cradles. Oh, it was good for business, and it helped to keep the money in the family.
So, of course, they said no.
Well, actually, no, they agreed.
So, what was the problem then?
Well, it came with one condition, you see. I had to think about it, so they suggested that I go to our plantation that we owned in Argentina for about 3 months, and if I felt the same way, to come back.
So you waited, so what was the problem?
Well, here lies the problem. You see, there was this wonderful native girl. I did tell you I was a shit, didn't I? Anyway, I didn't return for about 2 years, and, well, don't look at me that way. I can't bloody well help it, I did say.
So, when you returned, they'd adopted you here, had they, your family?
Yes, and they were pressing for me to get back with Penelope. They suggested that I should have your mother as a mistress. Yes, they all seemed to think that was a jolly good idea. My Uncle George had done it all his life, you know. Yes, one for fun, he said, and one for producing the sprogs.
You what? What kind of appalling family do you come from?
Well, that's easy. You see, I come from a long line of shits. Anyway, Penelope was pregnant, got knocked up by a tinted footballer, she did, yes. Anyway, that wasn't on, so, well, I decided to get back with your mother that summer, and we had a wonderful summer. Endless days. They were halcyon days.
And there I was, worried that we wouldn't measure up to your standards. So what was the problem then?
Well, this is something that only other people told me. You see, I used to be a racing car driver, and, well, I had a rather serious accident at that point, and I was in a coma for a couple of months. And when I came round, I'd lost all memory of all my friends, and including your mother. It took a good couple of weeks before I started to remember, and as soon as I did, I went round there like a shot, I assure you.
Was I born then?
Yes. I went round there with chocolates in one hand, flowers in the other, with the I'm sorry routine. And she answered the door with you in her arms.
I guess the apologies didn't work.
I never had a chance. She flew at me in a rage. I told you many things about me, and not very nice things, but a physical coward I'm not. You see, I've canoed up the Orinoco, I've climbed Mount Everest, I've even ran with bulls in Pamplona. You lost a wedding tackle on that one. Anyway, your mother was far more ferocious. And she stood clutching you like I was trying to steal you away from her. She said, "Don't you come around here thinking you can take this one like you did the other, and if you try, I shall kill you." And she slammed the door in my face. And, well, I believed her. And so I bid a tactical retreat and thought, well, actually, I thought it was postnatal depression.
I can't believe that my mum would say anything like that.
Well, she did, and very forcibly, I assure you.
So, that was it then, you just gave up?
No, not at all. I wrote letters. I sent her money, I sent her gifts, but it all came back to me unopened. I even sent a friend of ours to act as a liaison between the two of us, but...
Did that work?
Well, I don't know, really. I never saw him again. I've no idea what she said to him, but... well... Then the Cannes Film Festival happened, and, well, I never missed that.
Out of sight, out of mind again.
Yes, yes. Well, you see, there was this wonderful Swedish actress. But that's another story. Well, I was told that Penelope had an abortion, so the family were pressing us to get married, and I thought, well, why not? At least they'll be happy about it. So we had a wonderful, large society wedding it was. It was at Windsor, you know.
And how long did that last?
What?
The wedding to Penelope!
Oh, well, let me think now. Well, we got married then. Actually thinking about it, I think we're still hitched.
And did you produce an heir or two to please the families?
No, I'm afraid not. You see, having babies with your mother was so easy. Penelope and I had to go like rabbits for a couple of years before we realised that wasn't on the cards. Anyway, she'd had too many footballers and horses between her legs, if you know what I mean. Well, we decided to go our separate ways, and, well, I still meet up with her from time to time. She's a good old girl, is Pen.
So that's it then? That's your excuse for my mum bringing me up all on her own?
Well, yes it is, I suppose. And now that I've said it out loud, it does seem a bit feeble, doesn't it?
I can think of something stronger.
Yes, I'm sure you could. Look, you honoured your agreement, and you said that you'd listen to me, and, well, if you didn't like what you hear, I would leave, and I would never see you again, and I shall honour my agreement. But before I go, a hug, perhaps?
Bye, Father.
Goodbye, my baby.
Oh, wait. My mother quite obviously loved you. She never once badmouthed you. How about a hug?
Yes! Wonderful! How about that hug? Does that mean I'm forgiven?
Oh, no. But I'm afraid you can't choose your parents, can you? So I'm stuck with you as a father.
Ah, yes.
My grandkids are lumbered with you as a grandfather.
Yes, that's true. I'm a grandfather. Oh, that's wonderful, isn't it? Oh, my head's in such a well. Look, I know I don't deserve it, but get them out here. I want to hug them some more, but before you do, is it true your mother never bad-mouthed me?
Not once. She used to talk about you with a dreamy look in her eye. She said you were a lovely man.
Yes, well, you see, I was a bit cute in those days. Look, bring them back in here. I want to do some of that family interacting stuff, you know.
Come on in, everybody.
Look at that. Oh.
It's all right, we're listening to every word. So.
It were all so romantic, Gramps. I had it here.
Good work. Here we go. Who the bloody hell's this?
It is quite safe to enter the premises, ma'am.
Oh, do go away, you insufferable little man. Hello, Father.
Hello.
Aww.
It's unfair. You see how I'm treated? I've just got the one line again. They don't like me. I'm being stifled, I am. My abilities are being suppressed. But I'll show them. Talent will out in the end.
Well, Father, now that you've met your estranged family, what do you think?
Bloody marvellous. Oh, my head's in a whirl. I have such plans for you young people.
Not the same kind of plans your family had for you, I hope.
Oh, no. no. I mean, it's a different generation. They wouldn't stand for it nowadays. They'd sooner tell me to get stuffed.
We wouldn't say that, Grandpa.
Oh, yes, they would, I assure you, in a lot of ways.
Yes, I'm sure they would. Now, how about education? I could help out there.
God, we've done that. That's boring, that.
Very. Mind-bogglingly boring.
Yes, well, I quite understand. Mind you, I got along with the minimal of book learning, didn't I?
Well, yes, you did, Father. But I think inheriting £20 million and 3 country estates might have helped.
You think that helped, did you?
Oh, just a bit, just a bit.
Well, I never really thought about the money before. It was just always there. I considered myself a bit of a self-made man, but now that I see myself through your eyes, I don't like what I see.
Don't be sad, Grandpa. You've led a full and adventurous life. You could have been sat at home all day counting your money like a miserable old Scrooge, but you have spread fun and laughter around the world.
Yes.
You can say that again.
Yeah, see, if the money is a bit of a problem for Grandpa, see, we could take care of it, couldn't we, Bonny?
Yes, I'm sure you could, you little shit pots. You'd have to wait till I'm pushing up the daisy, I'm afraid. No. When I say plans, I mean something more immediate.
What have you got in mind, you old rascal?
Balls! Yes, you remember the wonderful swinging balls we used to have whilst you were a teenager?
Oh, yes, they were wonderful, but I don't see the connection.
Well, I want to introduce the whole world to my wonderful new family. I mean, I'm going to send invitations to all my friends around the world. They'll all come if I ask them.
Bunch of toffs, don't think so, mate.
Yes, well, there will be a few titled people and a princess or two. But mainly there'll be rock stars and film stars and a few English football players, thanks to old Penn. I seem to have made a lot of friends over the years.
And will they come if you ask them?
Oh, yes. He's the leader of the gang. I can assure you they'll flock if he asks them.
Do you know Elton John?
Oh, Reg, yes. Knew him before he was famous. You like him, Niles. Yeah, he'll be there. Anybody else?
I don't suppose you know the Creepers.
Pardon?
Oh, they're her favourite band. She's got them plastered up all over her walls.
Can I come as well?
Well, if you want them at your ball, I shall make sure they will perform for you.
I like them well enough, but they're very popular. They'll be hard to get round this time.
If anybody wants them to perform at her ball, I shall make them an offer they can't possibly refuse.
Yeah, I like that. It's good fun. It's good fun.
You better believe it, kid. No, look. Prince Charles owes me a favour. I could always ask him to come to the party.
No,
you're right.
Yes, I quite understand. He is a bit of a bore.
But Father, is the old manor house up to an international soiree of this standing?
Yes, it's looking wonderful. I have a couple of people looking after it now. Yes, the place has all been glitched up. It's looking lovely. Oh, there I go again. I'm rushing along making plans like a shit off a shovel.
Father, language!
Well, what I mean to say is that, well, I'm making plans without consulting the people that it concerns, but how do you feel about this?
Well, normally I don't agree with this kind of thing, costing thousands while people in third world are starving.
Oh.
But Dad, the Creepers will be there!
I'm sorry, love, I've got my ethics.
Kev, will you please get down off your high horse and let's have a bit of fun? It sounds great, Dad. When's it going to be?
Hang on, I said no.
And since when have you made decisions for this family?
Well,
never. That's when.
I never wanted to cause a rift between the family. That's the least thing I wanted to do.
Right, you go ahead with your posh shindig, mate, but count me out. I've got my principles.
Oh, Dad, it won't be the same without you.
Please, Dad, don't spoil it. Grass, do something. I want to meet the Creepers.
Hey, don't worry, he'll sort it out. Just you watch.
Let me think. You see, Cobbin, I never really have any time for ethics myself. It usually gets in the way of me having a good time. But I do understand your dilemma. Now, what if I was to ask my friends to bring an item or two that we could auction off? That would raise between 10 and 20,000, and we could donate that to third world charities. Would that allay any of your concerns?
I'm afraid I can't. Do it tough from creeping something a personal item to auction off.
Hey, what did I tell you? What did I tell you? He sold it out, he's just like the Godfather. Hey, if you want it, you can have Taft's wife front, can play it with skiddies if you want it. Alright. Oh, just like the Godfather, he's really cool. Yeah.
There you go. That should soothe your southern socialist soul, Kev.
Well, can our normal people come?
I sincerely hope not.
But you're normal, Kevin.
Oh, he's not normal, I can assure you. Now, come on, stop being silly. Let's have some fun for a change. If you don't want to come, you can stay at home and suck.
All right. Are my family invited?
Well, the more the merrier, I say.
Yeah.
Who are you thinking of, Kev?
Oh, my brother Pete for a start.
No, not Pete.
What? Why not?
Well, surely, Sandra, Kevin can bring his brother Pete.
You've not met Pete. He's got this snake tattoo, and it comes up out the top of his vest, which is all he ever wears, and it coils up his neck, and he's got all these piercings you can see, and well, Kev tells me he's got some piercings you can't see, thankfully. And, well, to finish the picture off, he's almost always drunk and singing loudly out of tune.
Oh, but he'd be really pleased. He doesn't get out much now, Sans. People don't invite him anymore.
Well, are you surprised? He's a bloody loony.
Oh, my dear Sandra, it sounds like you're a bit of a snob. It sounds like you would fit in with my friends admirably.
Don't encourage him, Father, or he'll want Auntie Marlene next.
And what do we have against Auntie Marley?
Well, before she says anything, she hasn't been on the game for years.
Oh, she's sold her ass, did she? Don't you worry about that. Some of the girls that have been to the party have done that from time to time to further their careers. A few of my gay friends have sold their asses from time to time as well.
Father, will you please moderate your language? There are young, innocent ears in the room.
Oh. Does she mean us?
Well, me anyway, yeah.
Oh, do forgive me, do forgive me. I sometimes forget how repressed the working classes are. Please forgive an old man who strays into the vernacular of the ruling classes from time to time.
What's he on about?
Well, I don't know, just say it's okay.
Oh, it's okay, Grandad.
Oh, what are you doing?
It's alright, Grandad. I was just going to give you a high five. Like this.
Oh, yes, I've seen this. It's like shaking hands, I believe. Yes. Wonderful. Yes. Oh, dear. Well, does that mean I'm forgiven? Good. Wouldn't want to see to be corrupting the younger generation. Now, when are we going to throw this shindig? Let's have a look then, shall we? What have we got here? Oh, no, I can't do it then. I'm in Acapulco then, at the Fiesta. No, New Year is out, because I'm in New York with my friends. Ooh, how about... Yes. The 5th of November, we could have a grand firework display over the lake.
Oh, yes. And an indoor swimming pool and a sauna and 2 tennis courts. Have we still got any horses in the stables, Father?
Oh, we've only got a couple now, I'm afraid, my dear.
Bugger me out, they're half has to live out down to his last couple of horses. Nah, please. I bet that to be a hunt.
Absolutely not. I think this is where you and I will agree, Kevin.
You and me agree? I can't imagine that, mate.
Well, you see, my father was the master of the local hunt, and every Sunday, 50 of the local gentry would descend upon us, male and female, on their bloody great hunters, with baying dogs blowing in their horns and stirrup cups. And the purpose for this? To hunt down a poor defenceless bloody fox, that's what.
I bet you joined them.
Absolutely not. It was a great source of contention between me and my father. I mean, I could ride, of course, and my father would always encourage me to join the fun, as he called it. He said, the fox is a pest and he kills chickens. Well, I suggested to him that it would be far cheaper to buy some chicken wire to keep the fox out than have 50 people galloping over everybody's crops every weekend.
Oh, good for you, well done. What did he have to say to that?
He went berserk. Absolutely berserk. It's not about the chickens, he says, it's tradition, Sheldon. We've been doing it for centuries, tradition. And he would slam his fist down on the desk and walk out. Oh, We sometimes wouldn't speak for weeks. I never liked to upset the old fellow. He's a kindly old soul, really. But there was one good thing that came out from the hunt.
Oh, good thing? Yeah, can't imagine that.
Balls! Yes, they were wonderful. Never missed them. They were fountain. There was one ball in 1985, I seem to remember. There was these 3 girls, sisters they were. Big,
I think
healthy.
we'll have this story another time, Father.
Oh, just the same, isn't it, Mum? Every time something gets good, you have to stop it, yeah.
It's not fair, we're adults now.
I can tell you one thing. We didn't talk about chickens.
I think that's enough stories about hunting, thank you, Father.
Your Auntie Julia would reintroduce fox hunting if she had the majority in the house. But Grandfather did a rather good job of brainwashing her.
Yeah, we heard that. Is the swimming pool heated, Gramps?
Well, yes, my dear, why?
She probably wants to get her boobs out as usual.
Well, it's not that, so just shut up! I just thought how nice it would be to swim in November. And perhaps ride a horse. Wear a lovely long ball gown. A bit like a princess.
You're a princess. Oh, when you're too...
I assure you, Niles, I've met a princess or two myself, and Bonny would outshine them all.
Great.
See, they're mainly a horse-faced lot anyway.
Have you got any trout angling tackle?
Yes, loads of the stuff. You do a bit of angling, do you, Kevin?
I've done a bit of coarse fishing, you know, but I've always fancied having a go at the old fly fishing.
Well, why don't you come down for a couple of weeks and avail yourself to the facilities? You'll be more than welcome.
Who the hell can that be?
Oh, that must be Amanda. She come for her interview.
Good.
The press? Oh no, I don't think that's a very good idea. I think I'd better leave.
But that's what she wants. She wants you, me and Dad together for the first time and our feelings.
No, Prime Ministers are not supposed to have feelings.
Well, if it weren't for her, we might never have got to know each other. We could have gone our whole lives not knowing. Come on, what do you say? 5 minutes?
Well, I say if this girl is responsible for bringing the family together, she deserves a medal. And we should bring her in here and thank her properly.
Well, I agree with Sir Sheldon. I think she's earned an interview.
Good boy. But none of the Sir Sheldon rubbish. Don, that's what people call me, my friends.
Righty-ho, Don. I shall let her in.
Excellent.
I'm really not sure. Where is Kevin going?
I think it's called making a decision. It doesn't happen very often.
Right, let me handle this. I've been used to the press for years.
No, Father. If you handle the interview, I shall never be re-elected again. I will handle the interview.
Well.
This is my house. And after all, I know Amanda. So I think it should be handled my way. Are we agreed?
Yes. You must be Amanda. Mwah, mwah. Why, this family owes you a great deal of gratitude. It's amazing to me how somebody so young and as pretty as you can do these things nowadays. A dilemma, though. You see, I have a rather important business meeting that I must attend, and my daughter, the Prime Minister... Yes, forget about her. Is also waiting for her helicopter, so we'll have to be able to cut this short, I'm afraid.
I thought I was to be granted an interview.
And so you shall. And so you shall. You see, I'm going to hold a grand reunion ball in November, and I'd like to invite you. That way you could do the story in some real detail instead of a few hurried headlines now. How does that sound?
That would be fantastic. Will there be any other press?
Absolutely not. It'll be your exclusive.
Well, that's amazing. But if we could just get a quote and a photograph now, and then we'll be off.
See, told you. He's the godfather. And, hey, he's my granddad. You're worth it, right?
Well, I think I speak for the whole family when I say it's been a moving experience. There's been a whole lot of love and laughter from the family. And it's almost a religious experience, one would say, with a whole lot of love from us all.
You have led a very colourful and interesting life, haven't you, Sir Sheldon?
Yes. How would somebody as young and as pretty know a thing like that?
Well, I have to admit, I've done an awful lot of research on you. It's quite fascinating. Was that thing about you and Dolly Parton true?
A gentleman never kisses and tells. But I shall tell you what, I will make sure that you and I will have some one-on-one time when you come up to the ball, and I can assure you I can tell you a few stories that you'll enjoy then.
I should love that!
So shall I, so shall I. I will send you an embossed invitation. Don't bother bringing a photographer, there'll be plenty there.
This is fantastic. I just don't know how to thank you.
I shall think of something.
Cheeky. Anyway, back to work. James, can you set up the picture now? Can we just get that picture?
Yes.
Right. If everyone could sit near the sofa and if the two girls could sit either side of Sir Sheldon. Fabulous.
Yes. Jolly good. Are we all here?
1, 2, 3.
Now, if we could just have the sisters looking adoringly into their father's face.
Yeah. What? It's just for the photograph, my dear. You don't have to mean it.
1, 2, 3.
Click. Now that is a front page shot if I ever saw one.
Well, that's it then. That's the end of the show, that is. Hope you enjoyed it. Well, I can't keep talking for too long. It's not easy for them, holding these poses all night. Good night.
Good night. To see us in our first attempt at the Broadway. I think you'll agree it's quite a nice venue, isn't it? Anyway, we've thoroughly enjoyed performing for you. You've been a smashing audience. But if you look on the back of your programme, we're hoping to be back here again in June for our next production, which is a review with music, dancing, sketches, lots of comedy, all about spring. So hope to see you then. In the meantime, have a safe journey home. Good night and God bless.